I'm going to start setting up the backend part, the to-dos, and again in our routes here, because we need to switch it just like we did with the other one up here, which was the new to-do. So we need to do the same with edit or update to-do. So again, right now it's just set to being a standard update or a default static data with BART scaling. So I'm going to mark that one out, the entire object, again, this 4 lines of code here. The next part of it is we need to, just like we had up here with our new to-do, it's accepting whatever we're sending to it. And we have to do the same down here with our update. And we can always go to the documentation to read a little bit more about this. And I'm already there, funnily enough, on MongoDB state documentation is about set here, right? So we can read about how it works. It goes to the update operator called set, which again in turn takes the field and values that we send through it, so we can update a specific value. So we can use set, and there's also a few other possibilities depending on what you want to do with it. But this is a very standard one, I would say, for updating Mongo for this one. Good, so back in our code, we're going to save this and we're going to close down the to-dos because I don't think we're going to use it anymore for now. And back into my to-do details.vue, where I'm going to be creating this, some of the things. We need a few things for this. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go grab the input field in to-do view, right? This one here, so these 5 lines of code. I'm going to snag them. I'm going to take the edit one. That's fine. So take these and I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to do a break line. I'm going to do an HR line. So we have some break lines, or some visible break lines actually. And I'm just going to put in the input fields here, right? So just like we had in the previous one. So I don't have to write it from scratch. I'm also going to create a edit button like so. And update item. You can call it whatever you want. I'm just doing this one here. And we attach a click event for it. That one, click, like so. And I'm going to use the edit to do function that we haven't imported yet, but we will eventually. So this is like the standard setup. I can save, I think I'll get an error. No, I won't apparently. And if I go to my front end, you can see I do a few testers here. So if I click F, I go to this one specifically. And what errors do I get? I'm going to clean this. So I get a few errors here because it can't read some of the components I'm doing. So I didn't get the error, but well, I didn't visibly get the error down here, but it's out here in my console log. And the reason for this is it's trying to access, for example, the new author that doesn't exist yet. So there's a few errors, of course. So for this to work, we can go to our export default. We can create our setup like so. And we can also, again, I'm just going to go in here to make sure I don't misspell it. I'm going to copy this one here, where we import our the entirety of all our functions, as you can see here when hovering it. And does this look right? Yes, it's the same folder. We go one back, we go into modules, we go to do CRUD. Groovy. So inside my setup here, I'm going to do const like before. I'm going to destructure it. And the one I want to grab first is edit to do, because that's the one I want to use. And I also want to grab the state. So this is where I have new authors and so on in, right? I'm going to go here and I'm going to return. So we expose them to our component. I'm going to grab the edit to do and the state. So let's see what sort of errors we get here. I didn't finish this one here, exit and to do CRUD. So we're telling which function you actually want to use. So let's go see what errors we have now, if we have any. So to do home and go to this one, and you can see we have our input here and input here. I'm going to make a break for this one, but you can see it's now no errors. And we now have our data binded. I'm just going to go quickly do a break up here. You should do this with CSS, I know, but whatever. Burr. Like this, so it's a little bit more pretty. So now we have like the standard setup for it. And as you can see in here, we have state inside, and if I update this, you can see it's updating in here, and so on and so on. And we have the route down here, so we can start manipulating that as well. Another thing I would like to have in this box is, after this headliner here, I would like it to just show the actual data. So when I click, in this case, the first one, it says many F's up here below the edit to do. So I'm going to go back here after the H1, but before the break. I am going to, there's a few possible ways of doing it. I'm just going to do a diff, right? It's a bit stupid, but whatever. I'm going to do a for loop. You can do it different ways, but whatever. I'm going to do item in to do, because I will be creating those eventually, but this might not be the best idea actually when I think of it, but whatever. And the underscore ID, and I'm going to print out an H4 for the first one, where I'll have my interpolation for, if I 1 2 3 4, this one, and I'm going to do item.author, and I'm going to do copy paste for this for the next one, and then instead of H4 I'll do a paragraph, and in this one will be the to do, right? So here we'll have our loop, which is only going over one, which is again stupid, but you can always just use a array. So select the 0 position in somewhere and print it out in the same way. We're going to do both. But if you save now, we'll probably might get an error in here. If we go here, so in the console log, no, it's just asking for things. So no issues yet, but it's not printing out anything up here, as you can see. But it is making the author and to do item. So just to make sure that we have those. They're not there, but it's all right for now because it's trying to do a loop that doesn't exist yet. All right, so in the next video, I'm going to continue with expanding upon how we use the router to grab the specific to do.